Okay, the EU Commission now is seeking to make investor citizenship schemes grounds for visa suspension. This came out in an IMI newsletter, and I wanted to highlight a few things on this article because you want to be concerned, but you don't want to be overly concerned on it. They were talking about in the article that the European Commission has announced several proposals it says would improve its ability to respond more swiftly and decisively to challenge like citizenship by investment programs by making the operation of such schemes grounds for suspension of the visa-free travel to the Schengen area. Now, they were talking about that the proposal is accompanied by the publication of the Commission's sixth report under the visa suspension mechanism. As matters stand, specific conditions must be met before the mechanism for suspending the third country's visa-free agreement with the EU. And these conditions are the following. And again, like I said, don't be overly concerned on this because I'm going to highlight this and kind of give you an idea what I think is going to happen with this. But a substantial increase, more than 50% in the number of people arriving irregularly from visa-free countries, including people found to be staying irregularly and persons refused entry at the border. The second thing they're looking at is also a substantial increase, more than, and when they say increase, they're talking about over 50% in the number of asylum applications from countries with low recognition rates, around 3 to 4%. And then the third one is a decline in cooperation on readmission. And then on the fourth one, it's an increased risk in the security of member states. Now, the Commission proposes to strengthen the visa suspension mechanism by, among other measures, expanding the grounds for suspension to include conditions such as a country's insufficient alignment with the EU visa policy, hybrid threats, and the operation of investor citizenship schemes. In other words, the Commission is seeking a mandate to revoke visa-free access from countries that operate citizenship by investment programs. Now, I didn't say the fast track programs. They're saying citizenship. They're talking about citizenship by investment programs, which could be a residency by investment program, or it could be the fast track program, because they've actually hit on residency by investment programs too. So, they're hitting on everything. But the funny thing is about this is they've got their own member country right now, which is Malta. Okay, they've got a citizenship by investment that they're fighting the EU on now because they want to keep it. The EU wants them to get rid of it. So what are they going to do? Are they going to throw them out of the EU? Are they going to keep their citizens from traveling to other EU countries? No, I don't see them doing that. So how can they go against the fast track programs in the Caribbean and other places that have fast track programs if they can't even solve their own problem with Malta? Okay, and Malta is fighting it. They don't want to lose that their citizenship by investment program. But again, concerned about high acceptance rates and name changes. This is another thing they're looking at. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've been in this business for a long time. I've never had someone who wanted to change their name even before or after. Now, they might have done it after they got citizenship, but usually people will ask me on stuff like this before they even do it. I've never had anybody that wanted to do this. And I'll tell you something else too. If you're at the point where you're going to be changing your name, either you're over paranoid because of something that maybe you did and nothing's going to come of it because it's not anything to begin with. You're just overly worried. Or it is something that you did do and you probably should be worried, but this is the key right here. I don't think changing your name is going to help because if you're in that much trouble, okay, you need to be upfront with the citizenship department of whatever country you're going to pick. And in the fast track programs, they've got extremely strict. As I mentioned, I had a client that got turned down, even with a full pardon. A full pardon is as if you never did it to begin with, and they still turned him down, okay? So if you did something that's truly bad enough to change your name, don't be applying for the fast track programs because I can tell you, you can consult with us first, I can tell you, because there are people that maybe I thought wouldn't get through. They did get through, okay, because it wasn't as big a deal as they thought. It just depends on what it is. But in most cases, what's going to happen is if you end up lying and they find out about it, they're going to revoke your citizenship to begin with. So changing your name is probably not going to be a lot, because you're going to be revoked of your citizenship if you lie on these applications and they find out. And I told you, I had a client several years back, I think it was 2016 or right in there, and he got revoked. He was a lawyer in California. He got his citizenship revoked, okay? And he actually fooled everybody. He fooled me. He fooled the Citizenship Department. He fooled even the outside due diligence companies that check on this. They go to every extent they can to find out if someone has a background issue. He fooled them, okay? He got through that. But this is the key. He lost all his money and got revoked. I don't want to say he lost his money. The money he paid out to the government, you don't get that back. And I tell this to people up front before you apply for citizenship. If you got a background problem, bring it out up front, okay? But if you're at a point where you're going to be changing your name, and it's truly a reason to do it, you probably shouldn't be applying for the fast track program. Now, can we help you? Yeah, in some instances, there are countries that'll take you, and we've got lawyers in different countries. We would have to check on that country to find out what your problem is and can that other country take you. But I'm going to tell you, with the fast track programs, because they're so fast and they've been monitored so much, they've raised their limits up so much now, it's going to be very, very difficult if you've got a real bad problem to try to get citizenship. So my suggestion is we can look at a different country, but changing your name, I don't think is going to solve the problem, but that's up to you if you want to do that. But anyway, the fast track programs, I think, are going to end up having to pull that out, okay? Because now that is, right now, it's among the concerns raised in the report was the Caribbean Citizenship by Investment Programs countries given permission to CBI investors to change their names upon naturalization. Now, and the other things too is, to various extents, all 5 countries allow successful applicants the possibility to change their identity, having obtained citizenship by investment. In Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica, it's allowed as 5 years after obtaining citizenship. In Grenada, it's after 1 year. And in St. Kitts, it's allowed upon obtaining citizenship. So as soon as you get this citizenship, according to this article, then you can actually apply for your name change. I got a feeling this stuff is going to be changing, because this stuff is getting stricter and stricter and stricter. Now, the commission also questioned the high acceptance rates of the citizenship by investment program, people who apply for citizenship. Now, based on the information received from the competent authorities, the commission has concluded that all the investor schemes under assessment have a high number of successful applicants, with a total of at least 88,000 passports have been issued to date. Now, for certain countries, the number is above 30,000. Like, for instance, 34,000 passports have been issued by Dominica, 36,742 by St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis has had probably more than any of them, because it's been in longer. You didn't have that lag period where everybody got out and St. Kitts stayed in. And at the same time, the rejection rate is extremely low, between 3 and 6%, which is, together with the short processing times, as little as 2 months in some cases, raises question that we're talking about here as regards to the thoroughness of the security screening. I'm going to tell you something. You can't look at the percentage. I know how. You look at the number of people crossing the U.S. border today that they're catching their terrorists and other drug traffickers, and they're just letting these people come across the border. And their own countries in the fast track programs in the Caribbean, you come to St. Kitts, you will find almost nobody here staying illegally. You just don't have people crossing over borders here in St. Kitts and staying illegally. They got it all over the place in the U.S. You got drug traffickers, people money laundering. You got people doing arms trafficking. They're catching them going across the border, and they're still letting all these millions of people come across the border, and they're not doing anything about it. And they're bullying little fast track programs in the Caribbean. Just blows my mind. But anyway, in its report, the commission said it was monitoring all visa-free third countries operating citizenship by investment programs, and that at the moment, a number of the visa-free third countries are under close scrutiny due to the potential risk raised by their investor citizenship schemes or their plans to establish such schemes. Now, moreover, the report highlighted that the EU was especially concerned about investor citizenship schemes that are commercially promoted as providing visa-free access to the EU. No, not just the fast track programs. They're talking about anything that's an investment scheme to eventually get citizenship. It could be fast track, it could be slow track. They're targeting all of these countries, okay? Now, the Commission also reiterates admonition to Albania from last year, emphasizing that it should refrain from establishing an investor citizenship scheme. It didn't say a fast track program, it just said investor citizenship scheme. This time extending the same warning to North Macedonia. Now, you know, North Macedonia's applied for EU membership, and they'll probably won't either make it a condition where they'll have to, they can not have any sort of fast track programs, although Malta's still fighting the EU on theirs, and they've kept it. So I don't know how in the world the EU is going to implement some sort of, you know, all these restrictions if they've got their own member country that's doing this themselves. You know, and Malta's been doing this for years. Now, today's statement clarified that the new grounds for suspension would automatically lead to the invocation of the mechanism for countries that operate citizenship by investment programs, and that suspension would remain a mechanism of last resort. Now, the Commission's goal is to resolve any current challenge, irregular migration resulting from visa misalignment, unfounded asylum applications, security risk raised by investor, citizenship schemes diplomatically and through joint efforts with the partner countries concerned. Now, Lava Johansson, Commissioner for Home Affairs, said that there were emerging challenges related to visa-free travel and that they need to be ready to address. This is why she stated that they need to reinforce their monitoring of the EU visa-free regimes and have a stronger visa suspension mechanism. You know, my suggestion, folks, is don't depend on any citizenship by investment or even residency by investment program. I'm going to tell you a perfect pathway to go if you're thinking about getting out of the country you're in and you want to get a fast track program that has no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. St. Kitts would be my first option. My second option, I would stick with countries that have real good tax laws, English speaking, unless you can speak another language, and get that language test under your belt, but doesn't require a language test. You want to get a program that doesn't have a language test that's going to be a real thorn in your side. Three great countries I would choose would be maybe countries like, you could pick countries that are in Central America, but you got to get the language test passed. If you don't want the language barrier involved, then pick Cyprus, Ireland, or even the UK. Now, I would not stay in the UK long term, but remember, Cyprus has a 17-year non-dom period. UK's got 7 years. Ireland is unlimited. I actually like Ireland better than any of the three, okay? And Ireland, pretty much, they seem to stay out of everybody's business other than being a member of the EU. But my whole thing is this right here: don't depend on one country. You need to get multiple residencies and multiple passports to get total freedom. If you want to know more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. And if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 8 months, hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Take care.